Right. So let's see how we are going to solve the linear equations where we have the variable on both sides. Right. Now, in this case, if you see the variable on both sides, remember there is three steps that you need to follow. Right. The first thing, if you see a denominator, right, the first thing that you need to do is remove the denominator, right? The first requirement. What? Remove the denominator, right? Remove the denominator. Remove the denominator, right? So I will show how to remove that. So the first process is, remember, if you see a denominator when the variable is on both sides, remove the denominator. Next one, if you see brackets, the next thing we need to do is remove the brackets. Remove the bracket or brackets if you have the brackets on both sides. And finally, remember the most important part here. If you see the variable on both sides of the equation, right? Take all the like terms to one side. So the first next step is what? Like terms to one side. So when we say like terms to one side means all the variables to one side, the numbers to the other side. So these are the only two types we have in the equations, the letters and the numbers, right? So once you clear this, removing the brackets, sorry, removing the denominator, removing the bracket, and then clear both sides by taking like terms to one side. Now, if you can just jot down this, right? You just pause the video and just take a note on this, and step by step I'll explain by taking different examples how we proceed in this. Right. Now, now remember one thing. Sometimes you won't see brackets and denominators in every equation, right? So if you have denominators, remove it. If you have brackets, you remove it. Now I'll just take an example where we have the variable on both sides. See, we have 3x plus 8 equals 2x minus 1. Now see, we have the variable on both sides. Now what you do, there are no denominators here, there are no brackets here. So move on to the last step I mentioned, what? Take like terms to one side. So here we realize that the variable here we have 3x, here we have 2x. So we have to take all the variables or x terms to one side, numbers to other side. So when you do this process, remember always, it is easy if you take the smaller value to the larger side, right? So it doesn't matter if you think take 3x to other side and numbers to this side, there is no change in the final answer. But it will make easy if you at the beginning realize the smaller value, take that to the larger value. Right? We will start with the variable. Here we have 3x, here we have 2x. You can see here between the variable and the number there is a subtraction. So we have minus 1 here plus 2x. So what you do? Take this 2x term to this side. At the same time, send this plus 8 to the other side. You don't have to spend two lines for that. So 3x is here on the left hand side. Keep it as it is. Take 2x to this side. Yeah, plus 2x. Take this side, become minus 2x equal. We have minus 1 on right hand side. First you write it. We have it already there. Then take plus 8 to that side. So remember, when you take one term to the other side with addition and subtraction, definitely you have to change the sign. So plus 8 become minus 8 on the other side. Here plus 2x became minus 2x to this side. So don't forget that. If you take a plus term to the other side, become minus. A minus term to the other side become plus. Now solve. 3x minus 2x. This is very simple simplification. 3x minus 2x is what? 1x. So 1x we don't write 1, just x. Minus 8, minus 1, minus 8. Directed numbers, same signs. At the value, have the same sign. Minus 9. Right? So when we have the variable on both sides, this is how we do, right? Again, if you want, you can just substitute this and see, right? You try yourself. I just do this only for this one. When we have minus 9 here, 3 times minus 9 becomes minus 27. It's minus 27. And the left hand side, minus 27 and plus 8 becomes, the final answer is minus 90. Right? Move to right hand side. When minus 9 here, 2 times minus 9 is minus 18. Minus 18 and minus 1 becomes minus 9. So left hand and right hand side are equal, right? So you can substitute and make sure that the answers are true. Right, so this is how we solve when we have variable on both sides. Right, now take another example. Say we have a term with bracket. Say 3 times 6 minus 1 equals say 5x plus 7. As I mentioned in the process, if you have denominators, first remove denominators, and then if you see brackets, first remove the brackets. In this case, first remove the bracket. How do you remove the bracket? You can see the bracket is immediately multiplied by 3. So to remove the bracket, you need to multiply all the terms inside the bracket by the term outside. Our children, one mistake that our children do often is just multiply this by 3 and write minus 9 separate, minus 1 separate. So don't forget, you need to multiply both terms, right? You need to multiply both terms here. Multiply both terms, right? So 3 times x is 3x. 3 into minus, so plus into minus is minus. When you multiply plus and minus, answer is minus. 3 times 1 is 3. Equals 5x plus 7. Now here, from here, as we saw in the first example, right? Now take all the terms to one side. Again, identify the smaller term. Out of these two, this is the smaller term. So take this to the other side. While that plus 7 take to this side. So I will just write this variable here, 5x. This is plus 3x. Take that to the other side, minus 3x. Now at the same time, remember, we have to concentrate very carefully, right? Don't ignore signs. Here on the left hand side, we move only 3x to that side. So minus 3 remains this side. So write minus 3 here. Now take plus 7 to this side with the sign change. So change the sign. Plus become minus. This side becomes minus 7. So next step, 5x minus 3x is what? 2x. Minus 3 minus 7, same signs, add the values, have the same sign. Now we can see the only operation we have is multiplication by 2. So you know what to do by now. If it is some product by 2 or multiplied by 2, do the inverse operation, divide by 2. So divide both sides by 2. get cancelled. X equals 10 divided by 2 is going to be 5, minus divided by plus is minus. Right? So you can see if you have the brackets, remove the brackets and then simplify, so solve the equation. Now I'll take another example where you have a denominator as well. Right? Where we have a denominator as well. Say we have 4x divided by 3 minus 6 equals, say, 2 times x plus, say, I take 2 here. So you see both denominators and brackets. Again, stick to the process. First, we remove the denominator. Now, children, sometimes there are there are ways that we can solve this in a different way. But remember, I am just teaching you one single method where you don't have to think question by question. Right? So whatever the question you have, if you categorize and learn, it will be a great help to get the answer without confusion. Right? So again, because there may be different, actually there are different ways to solve this, but stick to these methods where you will not forget and you will not get confused. You will get always the accurate answer. Right. First thing. What the first thing? Remove the bracket. Sorry, remove the denominator. Now remember, to remove the denominator, you need to multiply all the different terms by the denominator. So all the different terms you can see this one term, right? We identify terms by separated by plus and minus signs. Right? Now remember now in between x when I explain, right? I just explain small things as well. You can just jot down these, right? So I'm not going to post and explain this to get down. You can just post the video, get the notes where you see it's important to take down. So how you identify different terms here? Right? See, when the expressions are separated by plus and minus signs, left hand side can see this whole thing and 6 separated by minus here. So this term and this term maybe are two terms. The right hand side actually the bracket we consider as a whole term. Ignore the terms inside the bracket. The bracket we take as a single term. It is just multiplied by 2. So this on the right hand side we can consider for the moment this as a single term. Inside the bracket there is a plus addition. Don't forget. Just forget it. Bracket single term. That term is multiplied by 2. So here only on the left hand side we have two different terms. Here we take a single term. So multiply all the terms. This term and this term by the denominator. What you do? Multiply the first term by 3, 4x divided by 3 multiplied by 3 minus 6 multiplied by 3 equals this whole thing multiplied by 3. Even if you write the multiplication sign this side, doesn't matter. Now what you are doing here? Remember that in the inverse process, we are actually removing the terms one by one. Right? Here, so when you multiply this term by 3, this 3 get cancelled. So here we have 4x product 6 times 3 is 18 equals 6x plus 2. Right? Now the next step is what? Remove the bracket. Now remove the bracket. So keep this the same side. Right? Remove the brackets. You have to multiply both these terms by 6. So 6 times x, 6x, 6 into 2, plus 12 here. Right? Now you can remember the next step that we use. Take all the terms to one side. So we have algebraic terms here on both sides, numbers here. As I mentioned, take the lower value to the greatest value side. So 4x is smaller than here than 6x. Take 4x to the other side, while take that plus 12 to this side. Variable to one side, numbers to one side. So now what you do? Here we have 6x, write that first. Take this small one, this is plus. Remember, this is not minus, right? I am just time by time I am reminding you all the mistakes you might do. This minus belongs to 18, not to 4x. So sign of 4x is always on the left hand side. Right? In any number, the sign is on the left hand side. So here 4x, the left hand side is positive. No sign visible means positive. Positive 4x, you take the other side, becomes negative 4x. And then here, don't forget that this side we have minus 8. Plus 12 here. Now you take plus 12 to the left hand side, change the sign, become minus 12. Right? So we have minus 18 minus 12 equals 6x minus 4x. Right? So I'll write this on top again. I hope that you have taken down this, right? Write this somewhere, right? In your notebook. Then I will erase this and explain again. So we have, I write this again here, minus 18 minus 12 equals 6x minus 4x. Subtract this, 6x minus 4x means 2x. Minus 12, minus 18 minus 12, same signs, at the value have the same sign, minus 12. 18 and 12 is 12. Now you can see, only operation with the variable is multiplication. So by now we have learned very well. When the operation is multiplication, carry out the inverse operation, that division. So divide both sides by 2. This get cancelled. 30 divided by 2 is 15. Plus divide by minus divided by plus is minus. Right? So I hope that you understand this very well. So you can see, when we have denominators, remove the denominator. When we have brackets, then remove the brackets. And then all the variables and like terms to one side. So this is how we solve when we have the variable on both sides. Right? Now, I'll just teach you one last type of question that you will have. That is, now in all these cases, you saw the variable is in the numerator. What if the variable is in the denominator? So let's see how to do that. When we have the variable in the denominator, I'll start with a simple example. So you can stick to the, still don't forget that we have not forgotten the inverse operation method. That is the basic rule lying under the whole solving process of these equations, right? Linear equations. Right. See, when we have the variable, the denominator, I'll take a very simple example. Say 3 divided by x equals 8. So remember, so when you see the variable, the denominator, again, stick to that previous rule I may remind you all, but multiply all the terms by the denominator. That is easy. Now there are different, as I mentioned, different methods to solve this as well. Right? Different teachers will give you different methods, but still, my advice is stick to the same method, so the same process, where you won't get panicked or confused by different questions, right? So here once again, always remember the process, right, and do with an understanding, then you would have by heart. What you do, if you have the denominator, you multiply all the term by the denominator. So what the denominator we have here? X. So multiply both sides by x. So 3 over x, you multiply this by the denominator is x. This is also multiply by x. Now this get cancelled. We have 3 here equals 8x. Now see the variable. We can see variable here. Only the operation we have is a product. I think as soon as we get this, by now you know quickly to get this. Divide this side by 8, so both side by 8. Get cancelled. X equals 3 over 8. Right? X equals 3 over 8. Now let's take another example. Right? So the same thing, if I just I do this way, you just compare, you can compare this. 3 over x plus 5 equals 8. Now again, there are different methods to solve this. So again, my advice is just stick to the method as a rule. Then you don't have to think about different solution methods in different questions. Again, when you see the denominator, first you remove the denominator. Right? What you do? Multiply all the terms. Now here remember, how many terms are here? As I mentioned, so don't forget these small things. Terms are what? If the expressions on either side separated by plus minus signs, then you see different terms. Here you can see 3 over x and 5 separated by the plus sign. These are two terms. So multiply, here we have two terms, we have one term. Multiply both terms by the denominator here. So what I do? This side I multiply by 3 over x by x plus this also multiply by x. The other side also to multiply by x. All the terms by the unknown terms. This get cancelled. We have 3 here. 5 multiplied by x is 5x. 8 multiplied by x is 6. After that, what I told, if you see the variables on either side of the equation, take all the terms to one side. 5x is smaller than 8, so take this to the other side. Here we have 8x plus 5x become minus 5x equals 3. 8x minus 5x is 3x equal to 3. Only operation we have is the product or the multiplication. So use the inverse operation, divide by the divisions, divide by 3. Get cancelled. So x equals 1. You can say x equals 1 here. So this is how we solve the equation. So I think I have covered all type of possible uh, equations here. So if anyone needs a different type of equation where you find, you can just you can remind it or mention it in the comment section is possible, right? So if you just even if you can WhatsApp through my number, I'll just give the mobile number later. So you can just WhatsApp and ask for the equation if it is different than what I have explained. So basically, I have covered all type of possible examples all for the linear equations here. Right. I'll take another one, both with brackets and denominators together. Yeah, you will find still the same method to solve the equations, right? Now see this one. So as I promised you, I have taken from the very basic to somewhat say little complicated questions here. Now you can see say if you have the denominator like this, 4 over 3x minus 1 equals 1 over x. Now, this is somewhat related to algebraic fractions as well, right? So this can be solved using algebraic fraction method. But I thought just to explain, sticking to the method that I have taught so far. So what you multiply all the terms, multiply all the terms by the denominators we have. So here we have two denominators. Here 3x, here x. Okay. So I'll just multiply by the largest denominator here. This side we have two terms. 4 3x is one term here. Minus 1 is the other term. This side we have another term. What I do, I multiply all the terms by 3x. Now see, 4 3x, I multiply this by 3x, minus 1 I had here, I multiply that by 3x, equals, you have 1 over x, I multiply that was by 3x. Okay. 3x get cancelled. I have 4 minus 3x, 1 times 3x is 3x, equals, here only x get cancelled, x get cancelled. So I have 1 times 3 is 3. See this complicated, which is actually not complicated, which seems hard, became a simple, a familiar type of equation. Now what to do? Now we can go for the operations we have. As I mentioned at the very beginning of the clip, see the operations we have here. Here the variable, immediately it is multiplied by minus 3. So first operation is what? Multiplied by minus 3. And then multiplied by minus 3 and added 4 here. So next operation, added 4 here. Added 4. So start with the inverse operation process. Last operation I carried out is plus 4. So inverse operation is minus 4. So subtract 4 from both sides. Left hand side we have 4 minus 3x. Subtract 4 from both sides. 3 minus 4. I subtract 4 from both sides. This get cancelled. I have minus 3x. Don't forget the sign. I have minus 3x here equals 3 minus 4. Directed numbers, when you subtract a larger number from an integer, always gets a negative answer, minus 1. So only operation we have now what? Multiply by minus 3. Use the inverse operation. Divide by minus 3. Once again, don't forget the sign. So divide both sides by minus 3. Right? So what the answer? Just write that on top again. Here I change this one again. Minus 3x over minus 3 equals minus 1 more minus 3. This get cancelled. X remains here. Minus divided by minus is plus 1 over 3. Right? So I think you realize when you categorize one thing, when you categorize and learn, and when you follow a proper method or strategy, the solution methods does not change according to the given equation of the problem. So I think you have understood this very well, right? All type of linear equations so far I have taught you how to solve. Right? So if you see this very useful, then you can just click the bell icon, right? You will see notifications frequently, right? And then share this among your friends, maybe neighbors, friends, and your say siblings, right? Share this with all of them, even if they are in grade 8 and 9, maybe Cambridge and Excel, where everyone will learn, right? So let's develop the mathematical skill where everyone can solve problems and become good mathematicians actually. Right. So I hope to see you in my next video clip, which I will discuss solving quadratic equations. Right. So we'll see from your my next video clip. Until then, have a nice time. Do these sums. And before that, I will definitely have another video clip on discussing past papers related to all these say linear equations. Right? I will discuss all the past papers with linear equations. Okay. See you soon.